Hey guys, it's Kenton Becker again with another weekly video tip for you. This week, I want to talk about another question that I get asked all the time, and that is, what third-party services are you paying for when you buy a house? Now, there's a bunch of different services, but I'm going to look at the top 5 and kind of explain what they are and how much you typically pay. The first one I want to talk about is title service. Now, title insurance is what it's called, and it's insurance that you take out one-time payment when you buy the house to ensure that the person you're buying it from is the legit owner, that they actually own that house and there's no one else that has staked a claim to that home. So title service is very important, and it's based on a percentage of the house. There's a calculation. You know, a higher price home has higher insurance costs versus a lower price home. You know, we see them usually run between $500–600 up to $1,500 for title insurance, and both the seller and the buyer pay for their own. So that's something that you'll see on your closing costs. Now, another one that we see is escrow services. Now, escrow is that mutual third party between the buyer and the seller, and they're basically the ones that handle all of the paperwork, handle all the money coming in. When you're closing on that loan, all that money gets sent to escrow so they can make sure it goes to whoever it needs to go to. And so they also handle the closing paperwork as well and the whole funding of that loan or of that home. So escrow is definitely a necessary service. And again, that ranges on the price of the home. So you could be looking at $500 or $600 for escrow, all the way up to $1,200, $1,500 on a higher price home. Now, insurance services. Insurance services are mainly for home insurance. You're going to get home insurance that covers the house from fire damage, water damage, theft, and you can add other policies to it like earthquake insurance, volcano insurance. You can add kind of whatever you want. Now, there are some additional insurances like flood insurance if you're buying in a flood zone. So keep that in mind. That could add to the cost of the home if you have to get additional flood insurance. But insurance is obviously necessary and it's required. You have to have home insurance, and you should have home insurance, because if something happens to that home, you want to make sure you're insured. So that's another service, and it's based on the size of the home as well, but it's a very reasonable cost. Usually on an average price home, $300,000 to $400,000, you're probably around $75 to $85 per month on that. Appraisal service is the next one. An appraisal is required anytime you're refinancing or purchasing a home, and the appraiser's job is to show you the value of the home, to make sure you're not overpaying for it. And typically an appraisal will run you anywhere from $600 to $800, sometimes more if the property is really unique, but it's a requirement from the lender, again, if you're refinancing or purchasing a home. And the fifth and final item is an inspection. Now, you're not going to get an inspection if you're refinancing the home, but when you're purchasing the home, you want to know what you're buying. So you want to get an inspection done, and you hire the inspector yourself. And typically the cost on an inspection is about $300 to $500, and it's a very needed service. The inspector is going to spend a few hours out at the home with you to make sure the home you're buying doesn't have issues or problems with it. And they're going to tell you everything that's wrong with that home, and you're hoping that they find everything wrong with the home. So they're going to give you a full report that shows all of the things that are either right or wrong with it, and then you can take that information back to the seller, open up a whole new round of negotiations. So it's definitely a needed service. You should definitely get one. Okay, so that's the top 5 third-party services that we see in any kind of transaction, whether refinance or purchase. So thanks for joining me this week. Give me a call if we can help answer any other questions for you, and we'll see you next week.